All religions have an end of the world. However, few are as violent and complex as the Norse end of the world, Ragnarok, when the skies and oceans boil and the sun and the moon are devoured by the wolves, Skull and Hati. This is the final battle between gods and monsters. I present to you Twilight of the Gods by Helen A. Guber. One of the distinctive features of Norrøn mythology is that people always believe their gods to be of a finite race. The Aesir had a beginning, so it was therefore a reason that they must have an end. And as they were born with a mixture of the divine and giant elements, they bore within them the germ of death and were like men doomed to suffer a physical death in order to attain spiritual immortality. The terrible Fimbulwinter. Sol and Mani, pale with affright, drove their carriage trembling along their pointed path, looking back with fear at the pursuing wolves who would surely overtake and devour them. And as their smiles faded, the earth grew cold and sad, and terrible Fimbulwinter began. This terrible winter lasted 3 whole seasons without break and was followed by 3 others equally severe, during which all cheer and compassion departed from the earth, and the crimes of man rapidly increased, whilst, in general, the struggle for life. In the dim ironwood, the giantess Angarbode diligently fed the wolves Skull and Hati with the marrow of murderers and adulterers' bones. And such was the prevalence of these vile crimes, the well-nigh insatiable monsters were never stinted for food. They daily gained strength to pursue Sol and Mani, until finally they overtook and devoured them, deluging the earth with blood from their dripping jaws. At this terrible calamity, the whole earth shook and trembled. The stars, affrighted, fell from their place. Heimdall, noting these ominous portents, immediately raised Gjallarhorn to his lips and blew the long-awaited call. At the sound of this first rally, Aesir and Einarr sallied forth from the great hall, armed for the coming battle. The terrible Midgard snake Jormungandr had been aroused by the general disturbance, and with immense writhing and commotion whereby the seas were lashed into huge waves, such as had never before disturbed the deeps of ocean, he crawled out upon the land and hastened to join the death fray, in which he was to play a prominent part. All the combatants were now assembled on Vigrid's broad plain. On one side were ranged the stern calm faces of the Aesir, Vanus, and Einarr, while on the other were gathered the motley host of Surtur, the grim frost giants, the pale army of Hel, Loki and his dread followers, Garm, Fenris, and Jormungandr, the latter two belching forth fire and smoke, and exhaling clouds of noxious poisonous fumes, which filled all heaven and earth with their deadly vapors. The host was doomed to succumb, and not even the Allfather's high courage and mighty attributes could withstand against the tide of evil as personified by the Fenris wolf. Its colossal size assumed greater proportions until finally its wide open jaw consumed all space between heaven and earth and rushed upon the father of the gods, consuming him bodily within its horrid maw. None of the others could lend the Allfather a hand at that critical moment, for it was a time of sore trial for all. Frey put forth heroic efforts, but Surtur's now flashing sword dealt him a death blow. In the struggle with his arch enemy Loki, Heimdall fared better, but his final conquest was dearly bought, for he too fell dead. And Thor, after a most terrible encounter with the Midgard snake, and slaying him with one stroke from Mjolnir, staggered back 9 paces, where he was drowned in the flood of venom which poured from the dying monster's jaws. Thank you.